Welcome to this explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We are taking a deep, graphic novel-style descent into a beautifully dark fable about, well, the complete collapse of reality. We're going to explore a text that maps out the architecture of the absolute void. It's this incredibly structured mythic narrative that basically asks what happens when existence itself is systematically erased. It's heavy, it's fascinating, and I'm super excited to walk you through its cosmic design.
Right off the bat, we have to talk about the chilling centerpiece of this whole mythos, the ink blot demon. The text describes this thing as a 12-foot gargoyle that literally rises from the floor like oil on water. Just picture that. And imagine looking into its crimson eyes, which are described perfectly here as suns that have gone cold. This entity really sets the tone for our entire journey. It's a universe being watched by this unblinking, entirely unjudging gaze.
So, setting the cosmic stage with the gaze of cold suns.
This perfectly captures the core conflict in this mythos. On one hand, you have what's called the animator stage. That's the colorful, frantic choreography of scripted, separate lives. Basically, that's us, right? But looming on the other side is this inevitable reality known as the heart of negation. It is absolute, permanent oblivion, a silent default state made of fluid ink. The whole narrative we're dissecting is built entirely on the inevitable victory of that silent oblivion over our frantic little stage.
Which brings us to the parable of the silent default, the first of 4 distinct parables that explain how this cosmic hierarchy actually works.
The crucial thing to understand here is that this absolute void isn't some chaotic hellscape of destruction or fiery wrath. It's rooted in existential determinism. Think of it like a giant silent cosmic timer. It's an unjudging reservoir that's just patiently waiting for the metaphorical clock of high time to finally run out. It's not angry at all. It's simply the default state of the universe, calmly waiting to reclaim its space.
And the inkblot demon? It's basically the physical manifestation of this void. It doesn't sit there judging your past deeds. Instead, it just watches the becoming and the will of souls as they play out. It's a pure cosmic functionary. Its only job is to eventually pull down the curtain on our existence, permanently erasing every single scripted line of dialogue we've ever spoken. But here's the thing. The demon doesn't work alone. Enter the deconstructive siblings.
What's really fascinating here is the profound transformation these siblings go through. They actually start out as these playful, innocent archetypes on the animator stage, but they morph into ritualistic extensions of nihilism. They stop being characters and literally become the mechanics of negation. Let's break down their parables.
Our second parable introduces the mocking priest, formerly known as the wit. Now he's draped in these heavy royal velvet robes, kind of blurring the line between a high cathedral priest and a monarch's jester. His specific role in this synchronized collapse is to use a razor-sharp, theatrical malice to linguistically deconstruct all our human striving. By tailoring the void into priestly robes, he's mocking our final script, basically making sure our tragic, comic pantomime of life ends with devastating, deconstructive laughter. Then we have the third parable, the devouring mask, or the hunger. This sibling has traded normal, bottomless physical hunger for the terrifying weight of forbidden, devouring knowledge. Concealed behind this stark, bone-white cosmic plague doctor mask, he just hovers there in absolute silence. He acts as the silent witness to decay, waiting to feast on the universe's final secrets, right as reality returns to its baseline.
Now, to make this entire synchronized collapse function, the siblings need a grounding force. And that gives us our fourth parable.
This is the parable of the anchoring blot, centered on a sibling known as the small. The small deliberately reduced itself, trading away all bright colors for a sacred, silent black. It's a crazy paradox, honestly. By choosing the density of being tiny, this sibling proves that only the absolute smallest, most fragile remnant can endure the massive weight of the coming void without just vanishing completely. The small becomes a fluid spirit of gravity, acting as the anchor for what they call the final spill.
So how do these 4 parables actually lead to the silent baseline? That process is known as the threefold madness.
This is a beautifully synchronized metaphysical collapse. First, the siblings have to undergo total identity loss. They cease to be separate entities entirely. There's this undeniable connection here between the loss of self and total negation. By giving up who they are, they become the vanguard of the Untergang, the final descent. And this absolute alignment with nihilism pulls them down into a beautiful, unbroken silence.
By sacrificing those identities, they undergo a final transformation into a substance known as living ink. They literally become the heavy, fluid instrument of erasure, running straight from the demon's own pen. It's a huge takeaway. To become a true force of total negation, you first have to completely extinguish your own individual identity.
And all of this leads us to the mechanical application of this terrifying creed, the final spill.
I really want you to just imagine the profound weight of this sacred black ink washing over your own personal footprint. Ink blot negation is designed to completely erase the script of reality. Every single stroke of character, every line of dialogue, and every agonizing footprint of human striving is permanently extinguished. To stand before this negation, well, the text describes it as a burden no soul was ever meant to bear.
What you should really take away from this explainer is the sheer neutrality of this cosmic design. The cosmic creed here isn't rooted in anger. It's not some fiery sermon of wrath or punishment. It is just the absolute promise of permanent oblivion, a quiet, perfectly synchronized return to the silent default.
But wait, here is the ultimate, stunning philosophical irony of the whole thing. Even the mighty inkblot demon, not a sovereign king. When the green gold jester holds up a mirror made of living ink, it reveals the truth. The colossal demon itself is just another functionary. It's merely a piece of the script, entirely trapped in the very tragic, comic pantomime of existence that it was designed to erase. It is a brilliantly constructed mythos, one that really forces us to look at the fragile, frantic choreography of our own lives. So, as we close the curtain on our explainer today, I want to leave you with this heavy question to consider about your own striving. When the clock of high time finally stops and that silent bass line reclaims the stage, what remains of your script?